Hey, you guys. See? Look at that. That's all you had to do. Look, you know you know what you're doing, right? That's why you pay the big bucks. And look, okay. We want to make sure that we pay everybody around here, okay? The whole staff. So can we give it up for the staff? Thanks. Me and Terry V. It's us. We're the staff. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Let's Heal Podcast. I'm your host, Tella. I think I forgot to say my name in the previous one. Sorry, I be thinking like, damn, do I make sure I do that? I know. I'm Tella. Nice to meet you. And can we give it up for Terry V? Woo!
I just started sitting here.
I want you to know I am not completely the problem here, okay? Like, it's not only me. It does not just fall on me, right? I know that I'm probably the most noticeable, problem. But, like, it's equal. I mean, 70-30. And so, me 70. I'm obviously 70. But, hi, you guys. I be missing y'all. I hope y'all doing good. I hope the week is going well. You might see me with this blanket on. And I know other people do this in their podcast for whatever reasons. I'm actually doing this because I have low iron and I'm freezing. Because most people's body temperature, is normal. Mine runs a little cold. So Terry V had the air on and it damn near took me out. So no, but I'm fine now. I'm fine. Cool. But yeah, so if you see me, you're like, why she have the blanket on? I have low iron. And actually, it's interesting because the topic that we're going into is kind of stems from that. My child. I don't know if I was this cold until I had him. And so they really can throw off your body, can't they? Like, we're not talking about pregnancy because I don't remember. Well, no, I do remember what it was like to be pregnant, but I was like almost 12 years ago, which is crazy. So my son is 12. And yeah, I just, this aspect of parenting, and I became a parent really young, which I'm gonna go into my story here in a second, but parenting is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever been able to experience. Such a healing process. We're obviously going to be talking about parenting and becoming a parent or being a parent and processing through our own trauma, throughout this episode. But yeah, my son, he changed my life, like real life. I rock with bro tough. I really love him. Like, I really do. I really love him. Like, I rock with him tough. Like, he my dog. And so, and not like we best friends. I do call him my best friend. But, I ain't one of your little friends. But, he got a friend in me. You know what I'm saying? He got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Right? So, so I had my son when I was what? I was a young buck. No, I'm just playing. I was 19. And so it's so interesting because I'll never forget the story. And that's when it's like goes into the dream state on the movies. But I remembered it all. It was when I was 19. And I was with his father or whatever. And we was in love or whatever. And I was actually I had just left, or not just left. I left here to go to school in Chicago. I went to Columbia College downtown, shout out to them. I still got some of my peoples, that still live in Chicago. But,
Shout out, what up, woo, woo.
You know what I'm saying? I throw up gang signs. That's not even what we're talking about. So unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. It's so unprovoked, too. But I lived down there. I was going to school. I was in school for fashion design, because I wanted to become a fashion designer. Let's all laugh together. But I did. And I like putting stuff together. I like, doing fashionable things. But fashion design really wasn't my thing. I knew I needed to do something that required me to talk more. Because I remember I had made 2 dresses. And I was like, I don't think I seen anybody for like 2 or 3 weeks straight, just trying to complete those. And they was cute, but they was definitely like very beginner level. And so I said, I need to have more like human interaction. And so during my first like semester down there, I started researching like different programs that I could do. And so I, looked into like communications, but I knew I wanted to be something connected to like people and development and like relationship development. And communications has all that too, but I wanted something that was more like the helping of others. And so, or something related to that. Because even when I thought about being a fashion designer and have my own fashion label, my goal was to like give to homeless families that couldn't afford the clothes. Like, so I would think about that. So I ended up looking into social work, and I got accepted into the U of M, which was cool because I actually didn't get accepted the first time I applied, but I got accepted the second time, which just goes to show you, like, this is the thing. Because when I came out of high school, like, the American education system is just, I ain't gonna say it's all a mess because it's parts that are getting better, but it's just built on such a unhealthy foundation. To the point where like people who are in Congress trying to become a president is literally trying to tell us that they're going to take out the Department of Education. How is that something that you're putting on the table? Like, you're gonna just take out the Department of Education? Like, they don't care about the way kids are educated. But anyways, I really struggled. I can't say that. I stayed on a B honor roll all of my high school years, but I left there with like a 2.9, right? And so, which wasn't like that. No, I lied. I was a 2.7. And so it wasn't like horrible, but it's just, I almost damn near hated school. If I wasn't in theater, I damn near would have hated school. Yeah, I was a theater kid. Yeah. I mean, it kind of gives it after a little while, depending on what episode this is for you. I'm probably giving theater child. But, it's just part of the path. But yeah, so if it wasn't for theater, I would have never left school because my parents were very strict about school, especially my dad. So I would have never like dropped out. That wasn't even a thought. You couldn't even think nothing like that, right? If they even caught you thinking something like that, it might knock you down. You know what I'm saying? A little level too. But yeah, no, like I said, I left there with a 2.7. But when I went to college, my first year, I was like 3.4, 3.5, right? And look, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, okay? I would give it a buck with you. I'm very smart. I'm very smart. Like, I have a lot of random things that I know. I'm very like intellectual. I'm very intelligent. The ADHD had me jumping all which ways, right? So like I learned through like repetition. I have to do things repeatedly for me to really like get it down. And so college, and then also I need to take breaks. Like, I can't be doing things back to back to back. I need to have a break in between. Even if I don't want to, I need to have a break in between for me to be present in the moment. And so when I got to college, like I said, 3.4, and I got into the U of M, and I was excited. And then my son's father had came down to visit me while I was in school. And there conceived my Jakey Wakey. Wow. But I wasn't crazy about having a baby at an early age because even though I was in college, and so that made me feel a little bit better, but still, like, we didn't have, no money. We didn't, we had to live with our parents, which is not the end of the world, but we wanted to have our own place because we thought we was grown, child. Didn't even know life bit us in the back. Sorry, it was an unnecessary analogy. But, yeah, we were just, it wasn't the easiest time to have a child. And I'll probably have, because this story probably in itself would mean, a completely different episode. But I ended up having my son early. So he was, I had him at 6.5 months. And so, he came out, 2 pounds, 7 ounces, 6 ounces. And he was tiny. He was an itty bitty baby, like the size of your palm type shit. And so he had to stay at the NICU for 2.5 months. So his birthday was supposed to be November 25th, and his birthday ended up being September 3rd. So huge difference. Huge difference. But then again, he could have been. Ooh, he would have been a Sagittarius. Look. He a Virgo, so I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm getting the short end of the stick or not, but either way, he would have been an interesting person. But yeah, he came early and he stayed in the NICU for a long time. And I remember, so we used to go up there every day to go visit him, sometimes multiple times out the day. And he was just growing and growing. And, he was all tiny, but then he got bigger. And so by the time he left, he was 8 pounds. So, it probably was a blessing in disguise because I don't know if you can get a good look at me, but I'm not the biggest person. And so 8 pounds, and the pregnancy, the process wasn't that bad either. I had to get the epidural because that was horrible. But other than that, it was, he was so small that it just felt like I was pooping. I was sorry, I didn't want to TMI, but that's just if you cared. But yeah, so he eventually left. I think the beginning of December he left and he was able to come home. And shortly after that, I had started school for social work. I went to St. Kate's because I did like the U of M, but I was for me being a young mom, I probably should go to a school that supports, moms in general. So there was this evening, weekend, and online program. And so it was you met halfway, not halfway, half the time. So half the time was in person, half the time was online. And so it was good. So I would kind of, navigated my schedule around that. And then the classes started at 6, 7. So it was perfect. My son would stay home with his dad and I would go from work to school, and eventually work into internship and, so on and so forth until I ended up graduating. But, it was always something. My son has a very healing spirit, right? It's difficult to explain, but if you know him, it makes sense. His energy, his aura is just this very calm. He could sometimes be a bit of an a-hole at times. Look, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I don't need anybody else to say it. Because I know some of my family members yeah, where do you think he got it from? Girl, I know. Watch your tone. But, yeah, he can be, but for the most part, he's a very, loving child. And even when he was younger, and he used to come to class with me when he got out the NICU, he came home, when he was about, maybe about 6 months. I had this class that was on Saturdays, and sometimes I'll bring him to class with me, and it would be so cute because Jacob is, when they say a village, it takes a village to raise a child, the village has helped raise Jacob, in every way. in every way. Like he was getting just everybody just holding him, right? This pre-COVID, right? Don't get your boxes into a bunch. It's pre-COVID. But yeah, like he used to be in class with me, and he really didn't cry. He snored really loudly. If you knew Jacob when he was younger, he snored excessively loud, right? He had it due to like premature, complications. Like he was okay, but there was still like stuff that may not have been fully developed over time, or wasn't fully developed, so they might start to cause issues over time. But for him being as premature as he was, he's a very, very healthy baby. And I always say, like, my son, his energy, like his essence, whatever his mission here is very, very important, because like for him to have went through what he went through at a young age to now be he's so tall, child. He's what? I'm 4'11". I'm very tiny. But he's almost 12, and he's what? 5'3", maybe 5'4". His dad's 6'4". So he's a tall kid, and his growth spurt keep hitting every time I look up at him. So yes, and I look up at him. And we wear the same clothes. He doesn't like to admit that, but look, keep it on record. So I like to buy him nice clothes, in general, but specifically things that I would want to wear.
That's convenient.
I'm just saying, like, not like, it's not about me or anything. I'm just saying, like, me as a mother, because I'm a mother, I'm just saying, my son needs the best for us both. But no, he just has a healing energy. And so I call Jacob I call him my social work baby, because I was in school the whole time, with him. Actually, I was just thinking about that this morning. I've literally, majority of his life, I have been in school. I don't think I was in school from 2013 to 2019. So he was like 7, almost 8 at that time. He's 11 now. So like and then I had to do like my, what's it called? So after you graduate from school for social work, you have to go into the field and get a certain amount of hours before you get approved to get your license, and then you have to pass a test for the license. It's a long, drawn-out mess, child, and I'm still in the mix of it. So please send your prayers. But yeah, it's only been like, 3 years since I've been out of school. No, I lied. 4 years that I've been out of school, but I say 4 because I had to do a licensure test that following year in 2020. So it's really been like more 4 years, and then really like 1 year that I haven't had to do something outside of continuing education credits that's social work, school-based related or licensure related, except me taking the test. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it. It stresses me out. But yeah, he's my social work child. So I used to do all my little techniques and stuff that I was learning in school. I used to do it on him. And, it was so beautiful when he was younger, because he was just receiving, and, when he would act out, we would, do deep breaths, and, I come from a whooping culture. Not that that's okay. Look, I'm not saying that you gotta whoop your kids. I'm not saying, but I do. That's where I come from. And so my natural reaction, just because of how trauma gets passed down, right? Let's call it, a spade. Since I had got whooped when I was younger, I didn't get whooped all my life, but when I was like under like 12, probably like under 13, I would get whoopings. Not like super often, but I would get popped in here and there. So my natural reaction, was to whoop. And I don't know, like as I'm getting older, I don't know if I necessarily have like a strong stance on either way. I feel like, a lot of people probably shouldn't be whooping their kids because they haven't really processed through their trauma. to know the difference between a whooping and abuse. So, but then on the other hand, you ain't finna be acting like you ain't got no damn sense. So that's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna do. So I wouldn't want it to come to a whooping, you know, especially as my son's gotten older. We talk more, we process more. We, you know, I make my black mama threats. I'm not gonna hold you, right? Like I say unnecessary, you know, what's Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris. I say unnecessary stuff like that. It's just it's a very black mama thing. I don't know. Sometimes it'd be like, wait, why did I say that? And we both be like, what? But he can't say nothing because I'm gonna get even madder. But I'm like, that didn't even make sense. Like, what's going on? But yeah, you're not about to be in here screaming, because this is the thing too. As much as I don't necessarily, like I said, care for whippings, there's something about people, and this is a real thing, they're terrified of their children because either their children have put their hands on them, you know. I never want to be in a place where I'm terrified of my own child, right? And I never want my son to be terrified of me either, right? There definitely is a respect, you know, differential, and there's a hierarchy, right, or authority in the house. But I don't need him to be terrified of me either, because if he's terrified of me, then how are we going to be able to heal what I'm passing down, right, or make sure I'm not passing things down? And so I wanted to be mindful. So especially when he was younger, I would have to make sure that, like, I was mindful, because I would have things that I didn't deal with. And then when I would get upset and I would yell, and I would feel all that rage come out. And I'm like, what is that? Where is this coming from? And so I know that there's things that I've already passed down to him. And I try to make sure I'm, like, every day I'm correcting it, honestly. And so my son has helped me heal a lot of my wounds, right? Not like, you know, I used him for it, but it was more of like, there were so many opportunities where I had to be like, ooh, this is triggering this for me, right? But he said something I didn't like, and so now I'm ready to pounce on him just the same way they pounced on me and how that made me feel. And before I look, because I can hear you right now. I'm not there. As we become adults and as we become parents, the things that our parents did, there's a lot of things that I can be like, yeah, I see what they meant. I see why they did that. I see why, you know, I had to receive this type of discipline. So there's a lot of things that me as a parent, I'm like, damn, that's why she used to do that, or that's why my dad used to do this, you know, act this way, or my grandparents acted this way, because, you know, either out of protection or just pure support, right, or just keeping it a buck with me and being honest with me. And then there's also things they could have did that differently. We could have went around this a little bit differently, right? And so I try to be mindful. And even though my son will have his own view of what that looks like when it's his time, when he's older, I try to be mindful of, like, is that a wound that I had to heal, right? Right? Is that something I understand now because that's what my parents did, or is that a wound that I have to heal? So I think about that when I have, you know, conflicts with my son, or even just like every day-to-day, all the day-to-day stuff. I don't want to be so engulfed in my own trauma that I miss what it is that he needs, right? That I see him as a real person, like he's a real human being, right? He will literally be somebody's, you know, father one day, or like he's literally going to be a man in the world roaming around without me at one point, you know, at some point in his life. And I don't want to be so engulfed in my life that I miss that. And it's like, damn, he a grown man, and now he don't know how to act because either I wasn't present, or, you know, I was super strict or super mean, or I put him down, or I was super critical of him, which made him very critical of himself. Like, it's just all these different things that get passed down, right? And Here, I'll give you a prime example. I remember when, before we both got the ADHD diagnosis. He got ADD, but I had ADHD. And I remember we'll be like, now listen, like I said, he's kind of a a-hole. So like if he doesn't want to talk to you, he's just not gonna talk to you. That's just who he is, right? But there'll be times where I'll be like, I need you to do this. And he would only like remember one thing and then not remember the other things. Or I would be like, I need you to, help me with this thing. And he would get so overstimulated because he'll be trying to do it right, perfect, that he would become like, he would start to overthink it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You've been sitting in the same spot for the longest time. But he's overstimulated. And I remember one day I was thinking about that because I'm like, why does he do that? Like, not necessarily act like he's scared of me, but he'll act very like timid, like he doesn't know how to do the thing that I know he knows how to do, right? Or even like just making sure he does his chores and he's clean and he's, routines and rituals. I would notice that it was really hard for him to not be distracted when he did it, like completely distracted to the point where he might not even remember what he was doing. And it brought back this memory, and it was so crazy. I remember so I used to have this thing with my grandma. I never wanted to cook in front of her. Up until the day she passed away, I cooked for her like a couple times. But one, because I don't like when people ask me to do stuff. And I got to do it perfectly, like, are you going to judge me? I don't like doing I don't like that type of pressure, right? That's a lot of pressure on me, right? And I don't need that type of stress in my life, right? I need you to love me regardless. And I want you to be like, I love her, but you remember that one dish? She's like, no. Right? And I actually I'm a pretty good cook. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't gonna hold you, but I don't need that much pressure. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that much. I make food out of love, not out of anxiety. So.
I make food out of love, not out of anxiety.
Okay? But I remember, but yeah, I never wanted to cook in front of her because she was like the best cook I known my whole life. And so to this day, I'm like, Dad, I can't, look, I don't want no smoke with you. And I didn't want her to be critical of me. And so I remember this one day she asked me to cook some eggs or something. Now, mind you, at that time in my life, I had to be like 10. I loved making breakfast. Like, you would find me downstairs flipping a pancake every chance I got. You know what I'm saying? Lord knows they should have gave me a waffle maker. I'd have been, you want a waffle? I can make you a waffle. I'll make you a little quick waffle. Put your little waffle in there. I'd have been making all types of stuff. But yeah, and I love making like pancakes and eggs and, bacon and sausage. And so when she asked me, I lit up. This is me as a kid. And I was like, oh yeah, I can make it real quick. And all of a sudden, because I knew she was watching me. And so all of a sudden, I just remember getting like super anxious, like overwhelmed, and like overstimulated. And she's like, you don't know what you're doing? I thought you know. Man, look. Because now I'm like, wait, how do I break the egg? Damn, no, okay, wait. How do you, like, and literally, I promise you, right hand to God, I said, I'm literally thinking, I'm like, I know how to do this. But all of a sudden, I'm tripping up over myself, right? And my grandma, I come from a family of a-holes. Let's just, I'm starting to see just how it's trickling down, right? And so she didn't mean no harm, but maybe a little sarcastic harm, but a little sarcastic harm. But yeah, I just remember her being like, do you know how to do it? Like, and black people just, I feel like black people do.
Aggressive.
Yeah, it's like, instead of saying somebody's name, we say green shirt. So I can't remember if I actually finished the eggs or not. But I remember I told myself, I'm never cooking for her again. Like, it was literally like, never. To the point where people would be like, well, we would be making dishes, and I would be the one that would go to the store. And I always, I was more of the bougier family. I was a bougie family member. I ain't gonna hold you. But also because I had this fear, like I didn't want to mess up. I never wanted to mess up the dish, which is crazy, you know, because I used to, they'd be like, Shannon, we could use your help. They ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Pour the sugar. Maybe not. And then it happened again. Actually, that's so funny. I literally would just like freeze up in these types of situations. And so I remember, what was it? We were making spaghetti and my grandma told me to put some sugar in it. And I like got overstimulated and poured, or I was pouring. It was only supposed to be a little bit, but then this big old piece came out. Because, you know, back in the day where the sugar bags, it would clump up. And a huge piece came out like this big. And I just remember my grandma's face. And I went to go pick it up, and it is like dissolved even more. Ciao! She said, just go in the living room. I can't get shit right. And so, man. And so I just remember that being like, you know, and if you watched last week's episode, we talked about self-worth. I remember that being such a hit to my confidence. Even though, like I said, I knew she wasn't doing it on purpose, but it was definitely a hit to my confidence. And so I'd be mindful of stuff like that when I think about my son, right? That like, yes, you're gonna do things that you may not want to do, right? We was just outside gardening earlier today. You're gonna do things that you don't want to do that don't make no sense, right? You're gonna learn how to clean the kitchen. You're gonna learn how to mow. You're gonna learn how to take care of yourself, even if it means that it's something you don't want to do. You want to be on your tablet or whatever. But I'll be mindful of the way I treat my son, right? The way that I speak to him, the way that I have conversations with him. Now, you get to acting crazy, like you ain't got no sense. You out in public, you ain't got no sense. You know, you talking back to people, you being disrespectful. We having a completely different conversation, right? And I want you, you're going to be held accountable. But then I also want a relationship with my child. And I say all this to say, too, I want a relationship with him that he feels comfortable speaking to me. But I've always been thankful for my parents that even though, you know, it hasn't always been perfect, I've always been able to talk to them and express myself with them, right? I ain't got popped, you know what I'm saying, a few times, but I can speak to them. Like, I can actually have real life conversations with them about things that at times they didn't like, right? Or it was hard for them to hear. But then when they were able to give me feedback, I also learned how to take it because I said, this is a reciprocal relationship. This is a healthy relationship, right? So much so that, like, even as an adult, like, we have tough conversations all the time, but it continues to strengthen us. And so, you know, parenting with my son has really made me soft, you know, really like, and not soft in a bad way, because I think I'm a gentle, assertive parent. I'm very assertive, but I'm learning how to balance it with the gentle piece a little bit. So I say stuff like, when my son get the acting up in a certain way, I go up to him real close and go like real close to his face, and I say, look, you're at about a 10 right now. I'm gonna need you to bring it down to about a 7 before I knock you down there. Right, so that's what I like. And that's probably as gentle as I can get. I'm trying my best, okay? We do deep breaths and stuff too. But look you right in your eyes. You got one more time to play with me before I knock your head off your shoulders. But I'm not gonna do it. It's the Black Mama phrases. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm working on it. But like, that's as far as I'm wanting to go with you. Right? But I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to make him feel low. I don't want him to make him feel stupid. I don't want to make him feel like he doesn't matter. I don't want to silence his voice, because when I would have moments that, you know, my parents may have shown up in a way that wasn't the best for me, right? Or my village at that time didn't show up the way it was best for me, right? In my needs, if they would have asked me, I would have told them type of feeling. I don't want that to be transferred down to my son because I knew what that did to me. And I wouldn't want, and I know I'm going to have to hear him, but that's let me say this and I'm going to close out. That's the best thing about what I really love about my son, because sometimes as a Black parent, it's hard to hear feedback because we say we want it and we want our kids to be open, but then when they do, we be like, like, girl, do you want the feedback or not? Right? I remember it was two things. The first one was I asked him, we sat on the couch, and I said, Jacob, is there anything mommy could do that would be, help you and us like have a better relationship? He said, like straight, this is how he talks to, you do yell a lot. I'll tell you no lie, right-handed guy. I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah, if we could, try not to do that, that would be nice. Also don't like when you hit me or you spank me. So if we could also do that less, I would like that. He was 5, G. And then, like, he does it to me all the time now. But he'll be like, hey, and it's be like after we get into it or something. You really kind of hurt my feelings when you were yelling at me earlier. And I'm like, and we'll talk about, I'm like, I apologize. I yelled at you for this reason, but I said, what's a better way we could go about handling that? And then he gives me whatever reasoning that comes up in his mind. And I try to implement these things, right? So that way we have a better relationship with each other. Like, he is a human being that one day I'm going to have to hear about what kind of parent I was. And I want to make the conscious effort to be present and aware now, so that way I'm not regurgitating my past onto him. He don't deserve that, right? And I done put all the damn social work skills in him, and he probably ain't gonna go for it. But I love that, right? I don't want you to be no sucker. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no jive turkey. I'm having a 70s party for my birthday, so I'm just getting my lingo up. But it might be after this. Whatever. This episode might come out after that. But yeah, I want him to be the best version, and I want him to be courageous and brave and all those good things that I tell him, but I can't be his worst enemy either. I can't be the person he's scared of and then telling him to go out and be courageous. Well, I'm scared of you. And once I can conquer you, then I can conquer the world. Right? So I don't need you to be scared of me. There's a level of respect, but, so if you're parenting, try to, as much as you can, check your trauma, whether that's, if you can do it in the moment, perfect, or ahead of the moment, or if you could do it after, just make sure that you're either lessening how much trauma. Why is my phone going off? Really? Should have put that damn thing. Who is calling me? Nobody important. But I ain't getting up and getting it. Sorry, just in case you can hear this vibrating. I might cut this out. Because it's nobody important. Oh, my God. Y'all, what if it's a bill collector? I'm not paying y'all. I promise y'all that right now. I mean, I will. Certain bills. But anyways, so let me say this real quick before they call back. If you're a parent, check your trauma. We don't need to be passing down. We don't need to be giving out more than we need to when I'm talking about the trauma. We want to heal our heart with love and compassion, right? Because the way that we treat ourselves is the way we treat others. And our kids are a direct reflection of us. And so, some of the issues that they're struggling with, we have already struggled with or are currently struggling with. So we can help them to get through it without passing down our stuff too, because then it causes chaos, as we know. So I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Parenting with Tella, Look at him.
New series.
You know, the series. And so I love y'all. I want to be the best parents for our children. But anywho, Terry V got a hot date. No, I'm just playing. We gotta get up out of here. Peace and blessings to you. You know, so it's not Black History Month, but I'm sure Juneteenth was right before this episode. So I love y'all. We'll see you next week. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Season 2, baby. Me.